As a musician, we are constantly trying to progress and get as far as possible, but there are certain things that I think are not said when pursuing a music career. So I'm going to share 5 things that they do not tell you about pursuing a music career. A very first one is, at first, it can be very lonely. The truth is, when you're learning the craft of becoming a musician, whether it is a classical musician, a hip-hop artist, a singer-songwriter, etc., there is amount of time that you kind of have to spend alone practicing and perfecting your craft. Thereafter, progressing and marketing, etc., you kind of have to be alone to learn the ins and outs on how to do this really well. And at the end of the day, it ends up coming across as feeling lonely, and a lot of the time people do not really understand the process that you are trying to achieve. Practicing, it feels fairly repetitive to someone who does not hear the small improvements that you're making. For example, I'm a classically trained pianist, so I had to practice a lot, and most of the time that would be alone, and then once a week you'd get your mentor to be in with when he's teaching you. But at the end of the day, pursuing a music career can feel lonely at first until you break a certain threshold where people are trying to work with you. The very next thing is, when pursuing a music career, networking is very crucial. Now, when I say networking, I mean building and maintaining a network. So networking really means getting to know people that matter and that may influence how you make music, but may also contribute and improve how you make and release music. So networking is very important, and it's not just in the actual making of the music, but it comes across in all aspects of making music. So there are times where you need someone who's better at a certain task than you are. For example, I'm not an electric guitarist, so if I need an electric guitar in one of my tracks, networking and leveraging people that I know within my network to get that guitarist may come in handy. Networking also helps reduce costs, because if you know someone else who can do it for you for more or less cheaper or for free, then you probably are saving. So I highly suggest, if you are pursuing a music career, build your network. The very next thing is to maintain that network. So maintaining a network means it's easy to build a network, but keeping it, so constantly touching base, constantly reminding them that, hey, thank you for that one thing that you did before me, and then every once in a while give some kind of feedback on something that they were not expecting. That helps maintain a certain level of networking. Networking can kind of be blurry between a friendship and a network, so try keep it between those blurry lines, because sometimes you'll leverage more on the friendship side and sometimes you'll leverage more on the professional side of things. But make sure that you're constantly maintaining those networks to help you improve. Now, a lot of people know that you need money to make music, but what I highly suggest is you have to keep an eye on the cash flow. So there's a lot of people that I know within my circles that have left music but did not maintain a cash flow. What does cash flow actually mean? So money in, money out. As a musician, you will constantly have money out. No matter who you are, you generally have money going out. But to keep within the industry, you have to keep on having money coming in and to somewhat pay the continuous expenses. So I've done a video before where I explained immediate money and later money. Typically, royalties are money that you get later down the line. So you can't literally wait a year every time to run your business. So you need that immediate money. Immediate money comes across as beat sales, live performances, money that you actually do the work now and make money more or less now. Or you have a passive source that is continuously generating an income. An example of this is making CD sales door to door, or online CD sales where you get the money within the same month. So keeping a steady cash flow is important. So if you are thinking of leaving your 9 to 5, make sure you at least have a plan to have the cash flow and immediate expenses that you have to pay off day to day, cash flow wise, to keep the operation running afloat. Another very important thing in terms of music, consistency is very important. Now, if you look at all the social media platforms, all the streaming platforms, you are generally rewarded for being consistent. Consistency means at least posting at a regular interval for a sustained long period of time. So for example, my YouTube channel, I only started being consistent with it in roughly 2018 or 2019, where I continuously kept on posting. once a week continuously, and that helped grow my YouTube channel, for example. The same applies for any other platforms that you want to be growing and consistently building a fan base. You have to be consistent. Similarly, Spotify has said many times that you should be releasing music at least once every 2 months. So you have to have a consistent output and be regular. And it would also, as you're consistent, you also help with your cash flow, because the more content and continuously you do it, it builds into a big snowball, and then it just keeps on growing as it rolls down this hill, picking up more snow as it grows and grows and grows. Lastly, having a schedule and preparation in terms of long-term consistency. So I have explained something called a content calendar before, where you have somewhat of, you know how to post, when to post, what is being posted. This actually helps you be consistent because you've already planned on how to do it, and you can match and map how you want to release your music. Scheduling is really important, and there are several tools that you can use to schedule out your posts, but I highly suggest that you have a schedule and be prepared, have adequate preparation. I always say, if my favorite producer were to come up to me and say, I want your 10 best beats, can I give them those 10 best beats within 5 minutes if I'm by my PC, or if I have another way of giving it to them? So I also have an iCloud link for 10 top beats, just in case. You never know who you're going to bump into. So having those type of things easily accessible is something that I highly suggest you have in terms of building a music career. A bonus one: a lot of people don't know that there are a lot of career opportunities as a musician. You don't necessarily just have to be an artist jumping on stage or performing. So that is another thing that most people don't know. There is multiple ways to have and live as a musician within the music industry. But if you want to know how many streams you need to make 1,000 Rand, watch this video.